Hip hop. Hip real hop. Hip real hop. Well, the babies. The babies have spoke, y'all. Listen, y'all. Hip hop is a new religion, and rappers are the pastors and preachers. Okay? The beat people, the beat machine, the beat makers. Call yourself the choir. You the choir. Those who make beats. You know, you're part of that, if not the choir, let's say the instrumental organs, and you know how they have the instruments in the church. So the hip hop is really a religion now. And our youth are captivated, and we have been captivated for really over 40 years. They say hip hop got its beginning stages in what, 73? Something to that effect. So hip hop is a new world order, and the babies are being raised not off of the church, not off of the preacher, not after the teacher, who I'm about to play in a minute, KRS-One, but the babies are being raised by the rappers. So hip hop has so much influence in our lives today. It's raising your children. If not raising your children directly, let's say most likely influencing your children. So what we need to understand is, if you can't beat them, join them. Hip hop is not going anywhere. So if it's not going anywhere, we got to deal with it, y'all. Today we got this new phenomenon called mumbo rap. We have this introduction into the hip hop world of harmonizing and singing and R&B infused with the rhymes, to the point where now the rappers don't even call on a R&B artist to sing a chorus or a hook like they did back in the days. Now the rappers take it upon themselves and just start harmonizing on their own. So now we're dealing with hip hop growing into new levels. We got hip hop going into rock. You got the Migos. The Migos remind you more, the way they dress and things, of rock and rollers. Extinction. Is that how you say his name, the new rapper? There's so many of them out there where they blend in rock with hip hop. Now, this has been done before, obviously, because we had Run DMC, who actually did great music with the rock and rollers. Okay? So this is nothing new underneath the sun. We're just showing you how hip hop is a new religion. Religion only means something that you practice, something that you do on a daily and consistent basis. So those religious folks who scream Jesus' name or praise Jesus' name, or Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, I mean, Buddha, whatever name you call your divine creator, you know, that's what it is. Well, hip hop has now become a religion in sort. It's something that we call on every day. We wake up in the morning to our favorite hip hop tune. We go to sleep at night listening to some of our hip hop tunes. Some of these youth don't even know what R&B is. They were raised off of straight up hip hop. They got their love, affection, and love harmony from even hip hop. Hip hop is a new religion. But we're going to take it even further because you have a brother like KRS-One who says it's a culture, it's a civilization, it's a new world order. So hip hop has taken from, as they say, the streets of New York, the ghettos of New York, and it probably was around before New York. You know, we can go deep into it and really find out where this hip hop began, because there's many conspiracies of where it actually started. Okay, so we're not going to deal with that right now. We're just dealing with the fact that hip hop is being practiced, even if we don't know it. We're practicing hip hop as a religion. We are fully engrossed in this hip hop culture, and the hip hop Holy Ghost is real. Once you catch it, you speak in tongues. You find yourself what? Zoning out. So listen to your favorite hip hop artist and tell me he's not your preacher. He's not your reverend, your pastor, giving you the good word of the day. This is what we're dealing with now, folks. So now we have to re-examine the MCs. We have to re-examine the beat makers. We have to re-examine our culture and understand that the youth, the babies, are actually going to church every day now with their hip hop. And depending upon the pastor, whether it's a young thug, a little, what they call them, little Yahtzee. It's so many of them out there, man, the new generations. And I respect y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing. I'm not here to hate on you as the OG. No, this is hip, real hop. So I'm just asking you to keep it real. That's all. Hip, real hop is only saying keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real. Don't fake the funk. Live your truth. Don't sell out. Never bow down. Don't be a puppet. Okay? So if you got a message, if you are divinely inspired to give off your ways that you came up in the hood and the things that you battled, you know, your testimony. If you're inspired to give your testimony, give it to the realest, to the truest form. Don't water it down. All right? So this is the introduction. This is the beginning. This is hip, real hop. All right? Y'all rolling with your brother, the Megalodon, 415. And we're doing what we call hip, real hop. All I'm asking is to keep it real. So we're beginning this show on this beautiful, lovely day here in the Bay Area, San Francisco, California, on the 26th, September 26th, 2017. And we're getting into it, y'all. Now, I can't get into any hip-hop without talking to some of the legends. So I got to take it back, y'all. I know y'all might not want me to take it back like this, y'all. But I got to take it back, y'all. Right? I got to take it back. Hip-hop, y'all. We're taking it all the way back. Don't you dare just look at what's going on today. You got to take it back. You got to know your history, family. So you need to know your legends. All right? Now, let's deal with one of our legends, KRS-One, one of the greatest minds. All right? Let's just start off with KRS-One. KRS-One.
Young people today have Google. Yes. When I was growing up, if you didn't know an artist, it was good. It was legitimate. I never heard of you. Today, yes. Google. Everybody can know anybody. So I don't even know how to introduce myself, really. My name is KRS1. It's an acronym for Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone. But this is all online already. Who doesn't know? Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. If you don't know all of that, then this interview is not even, you know. First of all, hip-hop is not just a culture, it's a new civilization. Okay. Hip-hop is one of the oldest cultures on earth. It is the first thing that human beings do when they come into existence. Breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing. Breaking is dance. The earliest form of human communication anywhere is dance. How do you move? Move according to nature, move according to the fish, the lions, the gazelles, the trees. This is what hominin humans did. This is early human, Neanderthals, Rhodesia man, Australopithecus, early hominin human. The reason most sociologists don't regard hip-hop as a culture is because they don't respect you. That's the issue, or me. They don't respect us as people. Any culture, you could say the fans that went to see the Miami Heat play basketball, that's a culture. Politics in Washington, D.C., I guess where I'm from, that's a culture. Now, those would be called subcultures, meaning you have blacks, whites, Asians, indigenous cultures all coming together to say, be online. Everybody's online, so there's an online culture. There's an online subculture. Anytime groups of humans come together for one thing, they form culture. Now, that's the textbook. I don't know the sociologists that can't see that. They're ignorant, not us. They are. That's the subculture. Hip-hop is a civilization. Now, let me go back. Breaking. First things that human beings do is dance. Next thing human beings do is utter. This is MCing. Not language. This is before language. This is before organized language. Before all that. That is called MCing. Sociologists only know rap, which is the commercial version of MCing. Their knowledge is small, not ours. We are MCs. E-M-C-E-E-I-N. MCing. Spelled just like that. E-M-C-E-E-I-N.
Now listen, you gotta listen to one of the masters. Actually, you should listen to all of the masters. Okay, I encourage you young people out there, study your hip-hop lessons just like they teach you in college or in high school to study history. Learn of your forefathers that came before you. Examine how hip-hop came into existence. It will empower you and make you a greater MC, a greater rhymer, a greater breakdancer, gigging, whatever you want to call it, beat maker, graffiti artist. I mean, it's a civilization, as our brother KRS-One just stated. So hip-hop is older than what most of us think. We like to start it with that origination song. No, it goes back, as brother KRS-One is saying, all the way back to the utterance of words, our first mumbles. So there goes your mumble rap right there. You see how that go? That's what y'all doing today, right?
And seeing. And the reason we spell it like that, and DJing, and writing like that, is because we call these expressions of ours elements. These are the elements. Breaking, MCing, graffiti, or DJing, these are elements. So whenever you write elements, at least the Chemical Society of the world writes their elements as penicillin, mucin. It goes on and on with the way you spell chemical elements. Now, most people look at breaking up, seeing and graffiti art and DJs and say, oh, just some black kids dancing. That's their prejudice. If we just look at the facts, we call our expression elements. We spell them as elements, not slang language, emceeing, E-M-C-E-E-I-N-G. So because we say emceeing, we drop the G. We purposely leave the G off because the G doesn't exist. We're talking about elements. The elements are what we're talking about. Now let's come back. Breaking. First things human do, dance. Second things human do, utter. Beatboxing. Music with your body. That's ancient. Before, go to the great Buddha in Asia. The sign language, the hand movement of the...
Now listen, the brother is getting deep with it. He's trying to show you just how important your culture is, your civilization is. Do not look at yourself as some cheap thing. All right? You are a part of a long extension of civilization that has existed. Now, it's expressing itself today in many forms. But hip-hop, as the brother says, is as old as the first utterance of mumble. The first movement was dance. The first writing is graffiti. I mean, he goes on and on. The first sound before you had the drum, the first sounds were your beat making. Okay? Your MCs were you. You always have been a communicator of your existence. You have always expressed who you are, where you come from, what you stand for, and where you intend to go. Today is just a modern version. So when you see the rappers, the hip hoppers, the young brothers and sisters doing it their way, you got to feel where they're coming from. You got to study the history. Don't just throw them away as though, hey, man, they doing mumble rap. That shit ain't real hip hop. No. Hip hop is here from a long extension from, as the brother states, the beginning of time. Now, this is KRS-One giving it to you like that. Now, if you want to argue with that, you got to give me something better. Until then, I'm going to listen to KRS-One.
Of the Buddha, each have significance into the mind of the person watching. If the Buddha does this, it means one thing. If the Buddha does that, it means something else. So when you see women dancing like this, and they do it like the women in India and Asia, they dancing like this, they're speaking. Sign language was the first language. Before human beings could speak, we spoke in sign language. The body, the head, we spoke like this, utter, and used our hands. That's MCing and beatboxing. Beatboxing is a form of MCing. Graffiti art. Today it's called graffiti art. But anywhere you go in the world, graffiti art is the world's oldest art. Again, hominin humans. In Toulouse, France, they found stenciled human hands, which they call graffiti, by the way.
Now, hand signals and hand signs. See, in this world we live in, they label that as gang signs and something negative. But Brother KRS-One is saying we've been making hand gestures and signs with our hands and communicating with our hands and things since day one. So you're communicating with your symbols and your hand movements dates all the way back to the beginning of time. So hip hop is not some new thing. Hip hop is ancient civilization. Okay? This is reality. But you got to study your lessons. You got to study your lessons. If you don't study your lessons, you won't be learned. You won't be learned.
The way. 32,000 years old. This is before modern man. This is before Homo sapiens. Hip hop is before all of that. This is hominin humans doing graffiti. What is graffiti? My self-expression in art on a wall. The earliest form of graffiti, bury juice in the mouth, blow it onto the cave wall so you see my hand, and check it out. They blew it. They didn't draw. They didn't pick up a pen and write this stuff. No, they put juice in their mouth and spit it onto the wall over their hands so they make an impression with their hands. This is known science. This is science all over the world. The earliest writing, the earliest human writing ever is graffiti. It's called graffiti by anthropologists, archaeologists, sociologists. Going there to what is called rock art. Rock art is the oldest form of art. We call it black books and we write on stuff, but ancient humans wrote on rocks, trees. No human on earth writes like this naturally. This is social indoctrination. So
he's when he's demonstrating that right there, he's leaning over as he was in a desk form writing down, saying that no human being writes in that particular stance. Human being natural stance is standing up facing your particular object. That's why we wrote on walls, right? The hieroglyphs and different things of that nature that's in the pyramids. So graffiti is not some gang writing or some scribble scrabble from the hood. Graffiti is actually the first form of language. Okay, it's language. We're writing. So your movement is tied in to the beginning of times. The reason why this is important is because you need to know that you're in a long lineage of history. Don't just stop and start with 2017 and that's all you know. No, you have to know what was before you and check it out. Appreciate what was before you. Don't just look at it and say, oh man, that shit whack, that's old. How can you ever learn something if you don't learn it? Huh? If you only want to know about 2017, then wow, that's a sad situation because now you're throwing away all of your history. Okay? Don't throw away all of your history like that. Listen, family, hip hop is ancient. Ancient. Hip hop is ancient. The first form of writing was us standing upward, facing the object, just like with the graffiti as we do it on the walls. We did it on the walls of the pyramids and other structures of old. It's not natural to sit down and write pointing downward. So Brother KRS-One is giving us the gesture, letting us know that that is actually social indoctrination. We're being taught how to do these things over again, are trained how to do them over again, when in reality, naturally, we already know. That's why a baby will write on a wall, right? They look at the wall and they stand straight up and they write. They don't write on the floor because that's not the natural position, writing down. The natural position is facing your art, looking at it face to face and giving your expression from a level, eye level existence, not pointing down, not pointing downward. So you need to study your lessons so that you can be learned. You need to study your history and understand that graffiti goes all the way back as the first forms of writing. It's ancient. Okay, dating back to where, as the brother said, we were writing on rocks. Okay, so you need to appreciate yourself as an ancient being, not as some new phenomenon. No, this is an ancient practice. Okay, but it's being expressed today in modern form. So hip hop is ancient, ancient, ancient.
To write like this. If you give a baby a pen or any writing material, a child, any writing material, they'll go right to the wall. Yes. No human. If you give them a pencil, a young kid, you give a pencil, they're gonna go like this. Show me a table. They're gonna take a pen and out of their own natural self, they're gonna go right to a wall and start writing the wall. And the first thing they're gonna write is their name. This is known all over the world. It doesn't matter what sociologists think. We have higher knowledge. They need to learn before opening their mouth. Now the last thing, DJ.
The first thing we write is our name, just like in school. They want to make sure that you have your name and the date, right? You got to date what you're writing. So this is the human being wanting to be known. Even in the scriptures, it speaks about how God wanted to make himself known. Well, that's why an MC spends so much time on his reputation and who he is and what he's about, because that's the natural order of things. We want to be respected. We want our existence to be respected. Shouts out to JT Blackness, the Darkness Awakens. You know, he came out with a series entitled Respect My Existence, and that deals with, you know, conscious community information. The Darkness Awakens, go check him out. Brother JT Blackness. So in other words, you know, like Brother Baby said, what'd he say? Put some respect on my name, right? We all want to be respected. That's your nature. Your nature is to fight for yours. Okay? Our brother DS1 Alliance, DS1 Ross, another conscious community figure who gives us that knowledge. He says, protect your rep. Well, that is in alignment with hip hop. How many hip hop songs have been made about your rep, your reputation, and protecting your rep? What is a rep? Your rep is your reputation, your pedigree, who you are, your resume, right? Your lineage, your forefathers before you, and who you are today. Respect my name. Respect my rep. What do you do when you do your graffiti? You mark your name on the wall. You want your name blasted on the wall. You want your identity to be known. You want your rep to be respected. So this is an ancient practice. This is not something that's new. It's only presented to you as new. Hip hop, being a religion or a practice of civilization, our culture, has always been. I'm just bringing it to you right now in this form, saying hip, real hop, and is hip hop the new religion? I'm just bringing it to you in this form, but it's always been here. And this is what the great master teacher KRS-One is sharing with us. Now, there are many master teachers. KRS-One is definitely one of them.
Woo! First of all, I just get excited talking about hip hop. DJing is not turntables and the technology. That's not DJing. Serato is not DJing. Technique turns not DJing. Beatboxing, not DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching, that's DJing. What the human does to technology is DJing. Technology can never tell the human how to DJ. Never. That's something else. If you talk about hip hop DJing, DEEJAYIN is DJing, cutting, mixing, scratching, invented by Grandmaster Flash and progressed by Grand Wizard Theodore. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Now, look at these elements of early human, early hominid. Dance, utterance, self-expression through art, cutting, mixing, scratching, which, by the way, to an early hominid, when you cut or mix something, like for instance, scratching will give you fire. Cutting is like when you get an animal, or you hunting animals, or you are looking through trees, you cutting herbs and things like that. Early humans, the cutters, were called stonemasons. Starts with stone. Cut. That activity is what we are doing today. It's what we do. When we hear that when early humans did that, fire came up. Or they ripped off a hide. Somebody's skin got pulled off because they cut it with a thing. Mixing, the blending of things that don't supposed to blend. This is early human psychology, early, to take this and make it match with this. How do you do that? It's called high intelligence. Now, the education that we receive today, this is why hip-hop's true history has not been written down yet, or even properly researched. Because hip-hop...
So blending and scratching, it's just like when you doing your food, right?
Hip-hop's true history.
And you're cooking and you're getting your seasonings together, right? You can take
talking about hip-hop.
What? You can take something that is far left and mix it with something far right and something in between, and you got a nice blend. Anybody who's a cook knows that it's all about the seasoning. It's all about your ability to be able to blend things together. Blend this flavor with that flavor, and if you create these particular ingredients, these formulas, you create what? Something special. They call that a recipe. So a scratcher, a mixer, a DJ has the recipe of mixing and blending sound to make a recipe that is in agreement with your ears. It is in agreement with your harmony of your body. So the best beat makers are not obviously those who just studied one form of music. The best beat makers actually have an array of background. They have knowledge from rock, from soul, from R&B, blues, so on and so forth. Not just hip hop, because if you really want to make strong music, you need to know the foundation of sound. And that comes in all different variations and forms. So a real producer is well versed and studied in a variety of musical forms, not just hip hop. And they're able to blend, scratch, mix these different ingredients into a special recipe that you call a nice jam, a nice beat, a slamming ass sound, trap music, whatever you want to call it, of today, drill music. I mean, whatever sound that you like, somebody sat back and cooked that shit up for you. That's hip, real hop, y'all. That's hip, real hop. You got to know how to blend it in. If you can't blend it in, then you can't do it right. So the best beat makers know how to scratch, build, break it in.
And the technology, that's not DJing. Serato is not DJing. Technique, not beatbox, not DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching, that's DJing. What the human does to technology is DJing. Technology can never tell the human how to DJ. Never. That's something else. If you talk about hip hop DJing, DEEJAYIN is DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Invented by Grandmaster Flash and progressed by Grand Wizard Theodore. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Now, look at these elements of early human, early hominid. Dance, utterance, self-expression through art. Cutting, mixing, scratching, which, by the way, to an early hominid, when you cut or mix something, like for instance, scratching will give you fire. Cutting is like when you get an animal, or you hunting animals, or you are looking through trees, you cutting herbs and things like that. Early humans, the cutters, were called stonemasons. Starts with stone. Cut. That activity is what we are doing today. It's what we do. When we hear that when early humans did that, fire came up. Or they ripped off a hide. Somebody's skin got pulled off because they're cutting it with a thing. Mixing, the blending of things that don't supposed to blend. This is early human psychology, early. To take this and make it match with this. How do you do that? It's called high intelligence. Now, the education that we receive today is all about the destruction of the ancient hominid. This is why we can't find, this is why hip-hop's true history has not been written down yet, or even properly researched, because hip-hop's history is not the history of rap music. That's why they think it's not a culture, because they say, oh, rap is a music genre. It's not a culture. Rap is not a culture. Rap is a subculture like reggae, jazz, gospel. That's rap. But what rap comes from, what causes you to rap, is called hip-hop. And that is a behavior. That's not music. That's an ancient way to be. That this society, this colonial society that invades nations and occupies other people's territories, they can never let you know this truth about yourself. Never. And this goes worldwide. This is worldwide. It's not just Black, Native American. All people on the planet are hip-hop. All humans are hip-hop. All of them. Every last one. Some know it, and some don't know it. That's the only difference. But, so let me come back to culture.
So, our true knowledge of hip-hop is not even being taught. Our true knowledge of MCing is not being taught. We're being given a watered-down version of what hip-hop is. And this is why, in a sense, we haven't taken it to the next level. Okay, what is the next level? Well, it shouldn't just be taught in school, because they do have colleges now teaching classes on Tupac or hip-hop or different things. No, hip-hop should actually have its own university, the hip-hop university, where you can learn basic education, but then hip-hop will be the sponsor. It would be the hip-hop university. I know that sounds crazy, but it's reality. Hip-hop is bigger than what you think it is. The brother right now is taking you back to the fire days when we first was rubbing branches and wood together, when we were scratching wood and irritating, agitating the wood and creating the friction, and before you know it, we created a spark. And right now today, if a beat is fire, that's what you say. Oh, that shit is hot, right? If a motherfucker give a nice rap album, that shit was dope. That's hot. That's fire, right? So hip hop is as old as your beginning days creating fire. We're taking it back, y'all.
Now, let's talk legally. Okay, we talked about anthropology, archaeology. Okay, that can't be. I don't know who thinks hip hop is not a culture, and we're the first culture on earth. We're human culture. What everybody's trying to get away from. Put that to the side. Come down to legal. What's a culture? A culture is any time a group of people declare themselves a culture. Now, let's say all the anthropology, throw it out the window. Throw the science out the window. If I'm in power, I say I'm a culture, and you gotta agree with it. How can you tell?
Go ahead. You hear that? A culture is whatever you say when you in power. That's real shit. So when you're in power, you enforce your rules, your regulations, your standards, your government, your way of life, your do's, your don'ts, your standards. So hip hop is whatever we say it is, right? Like Eminem said, what he say? I am what I say I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Right? So you are whatever you claim or state or live to be. Don't allow someone else to declare who you are and how you should do it. And this is why we love hip hop, because hip hop has a youthful spirit to where it does what it wants to do. Okay? For the most parts. I know a lot of people feel like it's being controlled by the mainstream or those with the so-called money powers to control. No, hip-hop dictates what's cool. The youngsters right now, this shit might look out of whack, but before you know it, you see everybody following suit, trying to fall in line with whatever the young people or hip-hop claims is hot or fashionable or the latest in thing, the latest hip thing. So hip hop is a culture, a civilization, because we said it is. We live it as though, not because the president, Donald Trump, says, oh man, hip hop is. No, if you leave it up to Donald Trump, shit, he'll say put hip hop in jail.
Me.
Who killed hip hop?
I say I am. If I tell you I'm Japanese, how you gonna tell me I'm not? I'm telling you I'm Japanese. So you know what, Chris? You're black. You got hair, your nose, your lips, and the skin. You're black, Chris. So no, I'm Japanese. Now either you respect me enough to say that let me treat you like a Japanese person. Because you say you're Japanese. How can someone outside of you tell you who you are? That's so racist, classist, ignorant. And this is what hip hop is being confronted with. I'm telling you I'm hip hop. All you're supposed to do is go, That's it. What opinion do you have if I say I am hip hop? You gonna tell me I'm not? That's like a Greek man, a woman said, I'm Greek. They said, no, you're not. I'm Greek. No, you're not. Someone says, I'm an electrician. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a chef. Someone says, no, you're not. What right do they have to tell you you're not? The only way somebody can say you're not what you are is if you're not being it. And then I say, I'm Japanese.
Hello.
But everything I do.
Hello. See that? No one has a right to say you're not what you say you are. The only way they can prove that you are not what you claim to be is if you're not being it. So, if you're living your truth, it is what it is. You are who you are. Okay? So that's the beauty of hip hop. Hip hop declares itself to be whatever it says it is. So you have an artist that comes out doing a particular thing we may not even agree with. We might say, I'm just like you have today. You have a lot of rappers who have crucified mumble rap, as they labeled it, mumble rap, right? But once the mumble rappers came and made it into a fashionable thing, it just took over. People started buying into it. It's so it's so much of a phenomenon to where you might not even know what the fuck they saying, but you feel it, you love it, and you try to say what they saying because it's hot, it's fire, it's that shit, it's dope, right? It's that raw, it's that pure, huh?
Right to say, you ain't Japanese, get the hell out of here. But if I'm coming to you with Dome Arigato and I'm speaking the language, I'm wearing the clothes, I'm eating the food, I know the history, my wife, my kids, or my husband, my whatever, we live it out Japanese life. We living it out right now. No one on earth could tell me I'm not Japanese. Especially if I go down, join the Japanese army, fight the Japanese wars. Other Japanese people will accept me and say, no, he's not black, he's our brother, he's Japanese. But us, no outside person could ever tell you who you are, ever. Now, that's just legal. I am hip hop. Now, you have to prove that I'm not me. I know who I am. I'm hip hop. You don't have to say, oh, you don't agree. You know, who cares if you agree or not? I know who I am.
See? What makes America great? As Donald Trump, President Trump, says, let's make America great again. We will also want to make it good again, or make it good, Donald Trump, President Trump. Want to put some respect on your title, your name, President Trump, President Donald Trump. Let's make America good also, not just great. So in America, it's great because it accepts people for who they are. Now, obviously, we're getting into this gray area where, just like the other day, we were told by Donald Trump, you know, if people don't stand for the flag or they disrespect the flag, you know, he said fire their ass. Pretty much, it took him back to the apprentice days when he was saying you're fired. Well, when he said that, it sent a shockwave through the NFL locker room, through the sports world, through the melanated nation, the black folks, and all folks, because basically he was stripping you of your freedom of speech. And so they took a stand, they took a kneel, they all unified and said, no, we can't allow this to happen because the very ingredients that make America great is our freedom of expression, our ability to have freedom of expression. You not being able to tell me who I am and what I can believe and how I want to express myself. Okay? I'm out here in San Francisco, and you already know it's some folks out here that express themselves the way they want to, and they were given the right to express themselves under the law in the manner that they want to. So, if they can express themselves how they want to, and if you come at them, it's a hate crime. Well, if I'm hip hop and I'm living out my truth, if you come at me disrespecting my truth, that can be considered a hating crime too. A hating crime, right? You hating. I just did a show on that earlier today about hating, but I was on my other channel with that. But listen to this. Oh, that title was Hating on the Player Gives Them Something to Do. Hating on the player gives them something to do. You know, haters go hate. So if you want to check that out, please do. Listen, family. Nobody can tell you who you are. You tell us who you are. Inside of you is the talents that the Most High Creator, the universal order, the universal law deposited within you. And you have the duty to unearth your beauty, give it to the world, and show us who you are, how you represent, and what you're here to offer. So hip hop is a freedom of speech, a freedom of act, and it is not controlled. It's an inner spirit working within, and it comes out. So hip real hop is not mainstream. Hip real hop goes mainstream, but hip real hop starts with the inner being. It has nothing at all to do with money. It has nothing at all to do with all the things you may think. It really has something to do with freedom of expression. Hip real hop is freedom of expression. How do you know if you're a hip hopper? Well, are you expressing yourself freely? Are you not controlled? Because if you're controlled, no, you're not hip hop. You're being controlled. Hip hop is not controlled. It's a freedom of act, freedom of action, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. Do it your way, right? That's hip hop. Hip real hop.
Now let's go further into legal. May 16th, 2001, we took hip-hop to the United Nations and we declared hip-hop an international culture with UNESCO. The sociologists need to do more work, do more research, get some more. This is historical fact. We spoke, we was at Kofi Annan's office was the overseeing office of our event. Our event is well documented. You can look it up, everybody knows it. We went to the UN. The UN accepted us. Forget these sociologists that don't know nothing. What's called UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, said hip-hop is a world culture. They said it. We went to the United Nations to accept the world culture status. I was there, of course. I was the keynote speaker. We spoke of hip-hop being the culture. We signed something called a Hip-Hop Declaration of Peace, which the United Nations has as well. 300 delegates were there at our ceremony. It wasn't just me and a couple of my boys. Everybody showed up and documented it. Now, if these sociologists today don't have enough education, that's their problem. But hip-hop is a global culture. You know what? There's two answers in there. Yeah. The quick answer, what built this movement, what made this all come together, is a guy named Africa Bambaataa. Mm-hmm. He is the sole author of hip hop's cultural existence. I'm called an architect of hip hop culture because I popularized it. But Africa Bambaataa is the first one to tell all of us, let's come together under this banner called hip hop. And we're going to call ourselves Zulu Nation. But really, it's hip hop. It's this new thing that we're going to cause in the world. It was deliberate. Hip hop was never a mistake. We stumbled on some things. Some things we tripped on and found out. But your question was deliberate. Africa Bambaataa in 1981 put out a record put out a record called Planet Rock. I think it was 82. Put out a record called Planet Rock. He also did a record with James Brown, the legendary James Brown. And that record was peace, unity, love, and having fun. Those principles, peace, unity, love, and having fun, became the principles for this new culture called hip hop. Africa Bambaataa would meet with us regularly. This was no haphazard thing. We just rapping on the corner. That's MTV's history. Real hip hop history is Africa Bambaataa sitting everybody down and saying, listen, all this black, white, red, yellow is stupid. We're all human beings. Let's come together on that. Africa Bambaataa would teach Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity all at the same time. Imagine that. All at the same time. You get a little bit from Islam, a little bit from Christian, a little bit from Buddhism, and you go, and a little Rasta, a little metaphysics, a little yoga. Bam, Africa, he's teaching us all of this. So people like me, I went to, it was one of the many meetings, one of the meetings I went to was in 1987 in a place called Latin Corners. It was a nightclub. Africa Bambaataa called another meeting, and he said, hip-hoppers need to unionize. He said rappers, really, because rap was getting big in 87, like way before all of it now, but we were still small in 87. But Africa Bambaataa said, we should form unions and try to preserve the original concept of hip-hop, which was all about peace, love, unity, and having fun. I took that and started the Stop the Violence movement off that. From the Stop the Violence movement, you notice there's a song we did called Self-Destruction. When Self-Destruction was created, that was hip-hop's first unified front. That was when we all unified and said, this is what hip-hop is.
So hip-hop is a deliberate action. It's not a haphazard, out of nowhere type of thing. Hey, they were even forming having meetings rather, where people were called together to meet on this new creation, even though it's an ancient creation, but we called it new only because it was a new expression, but it was always here. It was new to this world because this world is a new world, okay? America is new. This is not some ancient land. This is a new land. So in this new land, hip-hop came through again. Never being considered ancient, but more so like a new thing. But as the brother KRS-One is saying, our utterance, our mumbles, our sounds, our graffiti, our dance movements, all this is ancient, and this is something that we've been doing since the beginning of time. Now, hip hop is a brainstorm. It's a mental roundtable discussion dealing with the issues at hand. They had meetings, okay? Shit. Some of you don't even know that meetings were taking place back then. Meetings, not concerts, meetings where you're meeting the minds, okay? You're dealing with the people and you're philosophizing and organizing based on philosophy. So hip hop is a deliberate action, and it's an ancient civilization. We just now express it in this new land, and it seems like a new form. But hip hop is ancient, and it's always been ancient. So as Brother KRS-One teaches us, you need to learn your lesson. He had a great song. It's still a great song. You must learn. You must learn. Right? Obviously, he had the great monumental collaborative effort where all of the rappers came together for the Stop the Violence movement, and they did Self-Destruction. And that was one of the first times all of these rappers came together in such form. And that's another excellent song. They had an East Coast version, Self-Destruction, and they had another version that was dealing with the West Coast version. What was that one called? And that was a great one too. Self Destruction, and then the other one was We All in the Same Gang. We're all in the same gang. You know, since West Coast, LA was considered a gang type of culture, they formed the notion in the song "We're all in the same gang." So you had that, and you had Self Destruction. So these are great songs that you should definitely go do your research, youngsters. Listen to them, feed off of them, because this is ancient text that you need to know, ancient information that you should have.
Mainstream, they said we were controversial. Imagine, I'm saying stop the violence, and mainstream radio and television is saying that's too controversial. Too controversial to stop violence? Yeah, because if you're black and you're from the ghetto, you're not supposed to think like that. You're not supposed to have those thoughts. You're supposed to stay in your place and keep this to stay in your place. We know everything. We control everything. Get that out of here. That's our parents. Rest their souls. But our parents were on their hands and knees begging to be part of America. We were never part of that, ever. And this is not just, again, blacks and Latinos get it the worst. Okay, we get it the worst in America. But the white people in America too started looking. And just a sense of justice was just like, wait a minute, why is it like this if it should be like this? And this is when hip-hop exploded with Public Enemy, who was representing Minister Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. And their whole audience was white kids going, don't say you understand until you hear them there. 911 is a joke. This is all white kids. I mean, Public Enemy has a huge black following as well. But when you go to their concerts, dude, it was all revolutionary white kids, Russians, Croatians, Czech, England, France, Germany, Switzerland. Oh my God, this place here, from the day Public Enemy came out, the Swiss people have been down with that more than with this commercial nonsense that they was getting. It's the Swiss hip-hop actually, that was the first to invite Africa Bambaataa out of America to hear. It was a Swiss.
Really?
Yes! You gotta interview Bam. Okay. It was Bam. It's Germany, France, Switzerland. And we don't even know who's first. Really. Because the Swiss is some places that are, give you an example. London wasn't really with hip-hop in the early days. London wasn't like England. UK wasn't really with it. Now, of course, the UK is huge in hip-hop. I mean, I can't say nothing about the UK. But I'm talking about the early days when it was dangerous to be part of hip-hop, when you had to make a decision whether you were going to bring a hip-hop out or not. The UK was against us, and not the people. The country was against us. I'll give you an example of this. As you drive into Switzerland, all you see is graffiti art. Okay? All you see is graffiti art. Now the government here is they're not taking the graffiti down. Sure, I guess you write on some stuff. The government is trying to clean up. But you can tell that the government here is lenient toward hip-hop, toward its elements, breaking in the street, graffiti on the wall, people rapping. I can't make money in America. Why am I here? Okay, it's 2013, okay? Why is KRS in Switzerland and not in Ohio? Because Ohio is not the people. The political leadership of Ohio don't respect it. But the political leadership of the Swiss, I'm not saying the Swiss politics is any better, but the government here is lenient. It's just more lenient toward hip-hop's elements than hip-hop's own home is. And this is the way it's been from the beginning. When hip-hop first started, we had to leave America and come to Europe to get any kind of respect. And it's after Europe was respecting us. We going through huge tours in Europe. Then America says, oh, you need something. Oh, because we're international now. So now you can't just keep us in a box in America and say, oh, that's just some dumb niggas over there. Just, nah. No, you can't say that. The Swiss are here now. The French are here now. The English, the Germans. I was going to say Australians. I just came from Australia. Hold on one second. The Swiss in particular, all Europeans.
So, as the scripture says, a prophet has no respect in his own home. Well, America kicked hip hop to the curb. So we had to take it on the road. And the world embraced hip hop. And once the world embraced hip hop, then no longer could, like the brother just said, we could never be treated like just some Negroes in the hood, okay? Because it became an infectious movement throughout the world. Now, why isn't the KRS-Ones and so forth respected in the United States of America as they should be? That's true, okay? Hey, you got the rock and rollers. They can be like 80 years old, still booking tours, right? The Rolling Stones, damn near 100 years old. And they're revered by their peers. The new rock and rollers have to respect the elders. Well, why are we in hip hop being taught to disrespect our elders? Well, that's the tricknology. The tricknology is to try to cut you, young people, off from your elders. Therefore, short-circuiting the fuse so that you can still do your hip-hop, but it won't be empowered with the ancestors. You need your ancestors to take it to the next level, family. Don't cut off from your history. A tree without roots is dead. Likewise, a people without the knowledge of their history is also dead. So a rapper without the knowledge of his hip-hop history is just a dead man walking. Get it? You need your history, family. Learn your history. I am hip-hop. And we're worldwide now, baby. We're worldwide.
We've been coming here from the day we began in hip hop, from the day we started. We were coming to Switzerland and other places, Germany and other places.
Since day one, hip hop has been in Switzerland and Germany worldwide, y'all. Since day one. All right?
And the reason we come here is because we can't get respect in the United States. And what's the respect? The crowd, first of all, embraces our culture in Europe. And other places, I'm just talking about Europe. Germany, Switzerland, France, Belgium. We come here, we feel like we're loved. We feel like, wow, look, there's graffiti here. Look, this guy's breaking on the corner. Look, there's a DJ right here. Now, that's not to say that America doesn't respect hip-hop. The people, of course, respect it. But my country, the country I come from, won't even recognize Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash as being geniuses of their time. Hip-hop has saved so many people all over the world. People that felt they had no purpose, people that felt they had no voice. You look at all the protests going on today. That's hip-hop out there. Not just hip-hop, but hip-hop's definitely out there. Now, you would think that our government would say, you know what? We're going to give a Presidential Freedom Award to Grandmaster Flash for inventing something in America that the whole world uses and enjoys. We're going to recognize you, Grandmaster Flash. Grandmaster Flash can't even work in America. He can't even feed his kids in America. Him, Africa Bambaataa, and Kool Herc has to leave the United States to come to Europe to get some sort of decent pay for their DJ, to get some kind of love, to get some kind of sponsorship. This is an injustice. And this is the point I say to you. Be proud of yourselves here today. Be proud of yourselves here today. Because we hip hoppers, we come here to your town, not just because we say, oh, we large, we coming in to switch some, no. You ask anybody, any serious recording artist, we come here humbly. We come here humbly because we don't get the respect in our own country that we get here. We don't get the money in our own country that we can get here. So we come here humbly. And any American artist that come here talking this, they're not even, they're so far from reality, it's not even funny, and you should not even support them. Any act that comes here and don't understand the people, don't speak for the people, you don't understand hip hop. And so, I forgot your question.
The question was about the social context.
No, okay, let's go back.
Social.
So, in the States, in the United States in the 60s, we had the 50s and 60s, early 70s, we had a thing called the Civil Rights Movement. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Stokely Carmichael, now Kwame Ture.
So hip hop is kicked to the curb, just like they tried to kick niggas to the curb. You hear me? Hey, y'all, it's not respected because we respect it so much. We live it so much. So we got to go on the road. Our elders in hip hop have to go on the road to earn a decent living. That's a shame, y'all. And we here in America should change that. We should definitely keep the old hip hop tours going alive because hip hop grows older every day. All right, the 90s hip hop, they do it. They just did a celebration of that the other day. The 90s, imagine that. So now you got the 2000s. All right, and you got the 1000s. Listen, hip hop grows older every day. So if you throw away every act just because it's not the new act, you're throwing away your own history, family. Don't throw away your own history. Celebrate your history. Don't be like the other man. Be like your brother man. And love yourself, brother man. Hip hop is worldwide.
And others. Weathermen, etc., etc. This movement for freedom always existed within the United States. In the United States, we have a huge abolitionist movement, people who are against slavery. And most of them are white people, to be honest with you, in the United States. Most of the people who are against slavery in the United States are white people. You would think that black people would be the ones at the forefront of the abolitionist movement, and we are. I mean, I can quote Frederick Douglass, I can go to Nat Turner, I can talk about Harriet Tubman and others. But when you look at the historical change, we can fight. We fight, we riot.
Well, we are the ones that endured the slavery. We are the ones that endured the bigotry and the injustice. So obviously we are against it. But in terms of those who fight against it, he's saying that there's been white folks who stood up to say, you know what, this is not right. And you know what? That's how it should be. Because if they are the ones who inflicted this particular act on the world, then they should definitely be the ones to eradicate it from the world. So that's a good balance right there. But of course, black people are against slavery. Shit, we were the slaves. We don't want to be slaves.
We protest. But when it comes to the courts, the laws, the mood of society, religion, white people, white Americans have been at the forefront, have been the leaders of black freedom. Now, black people don't want to say that. I don't know why, but it's the truth. The truth is, Barack Obama was not elected by black people. Even if all the black people in America voted for Barack Obama, he still wouldn't win because we're that small of a group in the United States. Latinos, whites, they say, we want him. black man in office. Now, of course, we black people in America, we appreciate it. We're like, yes, finally we have a black president, blah, 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 blah. And I can go into that too on another level. But just the sheer excitement of it, okay? Just keep it light, keep it on the surface. To understand the movement for real, the real freedom movement, it has no color on it. And if it did have a color on it, it would be revolutionary white people that would be at the front of it. Now, of course, there's people like me in the United States, black men that are fighting for freedom every day. Every day, we never let up, ever. It's in my blood. I will always stand for the cause of black liberation, no doubt. But I stand for truth also. I stand for humanity first. The deepest part to being black is being African. Deepest part to being African is being human. Deepest part to being human is being God. Deepest part of being God is being love, being intelligence, and all of the above. Understanding, mercy, it's godlike. What would you rather be, black or God? Who are you really, African American or human? I tend to lean toward human myself. And so hip hop as a movement is colored with this as well. Not all of hip hop agrees with KRS-One, and they shouldn't. Hip hop should be challenging everything that anybody is saying out their mouth. Truth will hold up, and that's all I speak is truth. So I invite all questions. And let's get it clear that all of hip hop doesn't agree with this. But like I was just explaining to the lady here, I'm one of the leaders of the culture. I'm not, and I don't say that like I'm above anybody. That's a job. That's a burden. That's a responsibility. That's not something you say and then all of a sudden somebody puts flowers on you. No, that's a hard position to be. To say, wait a minute, I'm trying to birth and lead my culture. So go back now to the 70s. Malcolm X is assassinated. Dr. King is assassinated. John F. Kennedy's assassinated. Medgar Evers is assassinated. And Black Panther Party members is assassinated. And then all the other little ones that didn't get the name recognition assassinated. I grew up in that. Hip-hop grew up in that. There's two types of people in the world. Black men and black boys. Black boys is who you see on mainstream television. I'm with the girl, the big house, and I'm driving the car. That's little boy stuff. And any man will let you know, any man knows that. Any adult knows that. Now, I'm not saying that when you're on TV, you can't aspire for the good things in life, no doubt. But a man, a real man, he gets on the TV and first, he looks for his kids. Let me make sure my kids ate today. Are they clean today? Did they learn something today? Or are they protected today? Before I can even talk to you, is my kids good? It's a man. Is my woman good? Is she empowered? Does she feel like she can breathe? Is she expressing herself? Does she feel love? What's my woman doing? Most of the rappers you see on TV, they have no woman in their life. They have little girls who are only interested in little boys. So they play little girl, little boy games. I want the guy with the car. That's a little girl, a little boy. I can't argue with that little.
So the brother is saying that hip hop and rap are two different mindsets. Okay, so a real hip hopper is a serious human being, a progressive mindset. Okay, not to be played with, not to be controlled. Bigger than just jewelry, cars, money, and things. Okay, so the brother is going deep, and that's how we got to look at ourselves. We can't look at ourselves as just somebody getting on stage, talking a bunch of egomaniac things, and then fleeing away. No, a real hip hopper is for the people, by the people, of the people. That's a real hip hopper because we are fighting against oppression. Hip hop was a way to express yourself. Hip hop was the first expressions of self. The mumbo, the right? The mumble rap of today, right? The sound, the breakdancing, the friction with the wood causing fire, that fire beat. The dance, the movements of the body, right? The expressions, the hand signs, the, as you call it, the signals with the hands, but it's really symbolisms and it's hand movements and hand gestures representing and telling a story. So hip hop is a culture, a civilization, a worldwide phenomenon, and it's still growing on a daily basis, getting bigger and bigger every day. I am hip hop. Hip hop is us. I am hip hop.
Right over there.
Hip hop
Okay, the
is
little
us.
girl, little boy arena that rappers play into. But the majority of us are men and women. The majority of us. So the movement starts with black men. Hip hop begins with black men in particular. In particular, not black boys, not white boys, not Asian boys. Men, black men, talking to white men, who are talking to Asian men, who are talking to Latino men. We all come together and we say, like my man, oh man, I think, like in graffiti, you got Takey 183, one of the most famous graffiti writers in hip hop.
Not boys, okay? So that's the first thing. We're men, not boys.
Rest in peace, he passed. But Scene is he's a legend in graffiti writing. It's a white kid. Cat, big cat, who's running around crossing everybody out. White kid. They not hip hop? Of course they hip hop. But also, they recognize that this ain't about color. This ain't about race. Even white kids that live in the neighborhoods in the Bronx, they know they're just as oppressed as we are. And they feel it every day. These are men, okay? Men, white men, who are getting hit over the head by the cop, called nigger lover. Or you just want to be a nigger lover by other white men. You walking down the street with your black girlfriend, and you got blacks and whites dissing you because whatever. No, that's a man standing for his principles. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me and my wife. I'm a man. Step over here, I'll give you two in your head. That's what I'm talking about. Now, that's where hip hop comes from. That. And that's what we're missing. Because now everyone regards hip hop as mainstream and MTV. And that's little boy stuff. Even the executives that work at MTV are little boys and little girls. All of them. Because there's no way a man is going to program what's being put on MTV. No way. You cannot say you are a man and then program MTV to be what that bullshit is.
You don't think that that is selfish, man?
No. The selfish reduces you to a boy.
Yeah. Okay.
The minute selfish, boy. Angry, boy. Racist, boy. Sexist, boy. All that is anything you put in front of you down the boy. Now you may start out as a man, but the minute you open your mouth, we're going to see if you really a man or not. We're going to see. And what's happening is rap music through mainstream media is turning all boys into boys. They're not raising them as men. They're not raising us up as men. And this is the movement of hip-hop. Maturity. at least the first part of it was maturity. I'm not that kind of man. I'm this kind of man. And now we're going to stand on it. What is it? It's Malcolm X. Oh, word. What is it? It's the Black Panther Party. Oh, word. You go to any prison in the United States right now, go to any prison in the United States. If they know, if the prisoners that are there, the people, the inmates that are there, if they know that you stood for revolution, you have no problems in prison. If they saw you on the TV, and they in prison, and they saw you on the TV go, gangster, gangster, I got the guns out, we on the corner selling crack. The minute you get in prison, you're finished. You're done. You're done. Oh, you a gangster? Come on in here now.
See? So revolutionaries are revered and respected, and hip-hop is a revolutionary act. It started off as a expression of speech, expression of action, symbols, signs, creating fire, creating movement, onward march of civilization. So to reduce yourself to a corner of gangsterism cuts off your power and actually heads you on a one-way ticket, one-way trip to hell. Because if you ever do go and meet the gangsters who are gangsters, they want to try to test your card, test your G's, see if you all that you claim to be. This is why you have so many chain snatchings and things of that nature, because the chain represents a trophy, and those out there who consider themselves to be gangsters or living that lifestyle, when they run into you, those of you who claim to be gangsters on the mic, they want to see, are you really that? So, in a sense, you dig your own grave, okay? Whatever you speak into existence comes into existence. So you have to be careful how you use your power in hip hop. Use it as a freedom act. You know, talk to your brothers and sisters in the hood. You know the struggle of the hood. We're all fighting this fight, okay? Not to be eaten by the belly of the beast, not to be taken down, not to be thrown away. So you know the struggle. It's the same struggle in every hood. Speak to the babies. Speak to the mothers out there struggling. Speak to the struggle of the black men that's trying to make it in this so-called white man's world, as Brother Tupac claimed it and said it is. Right? A black man in the white man's world. Huh? So, and when we say a white man's world, we're talking about this system, not the earth. We're talking about this system, because you really don't control the said system. You control it indirectly with your spirit and your movement and your energy. But in terms of, are you the ones writing the laws? Are you the ones dictating who is elected, who is selected? Huh? No, it's the rich and the powerful. So you as a hip hopper have to be for the people. Power to the people. Power's in the people. And this crosses all colors. It doesn't have to be only speaking for black people. No, you're speaking for all people, because we're all in this together. We're all in this matrix together. You have the haves and the have-nots, right? You either rich or you're poor, man. Or you going to work every day trying to stay above water. So hip-hop has always been a voice of the people. So as you are rapping, you got to ask yourself, are you a voice of the people? Or are you just a voice of your block of Negroes? So-called American Negroes, that is. You got to question yourself. Are you in it for the people or just for your block? Because it's a struggle on my block. It's a struggle on every block. As Brother Tupac said, my block.
And let's just
step your game up, people, because on my block, right?
The people, most of the inmates in prison started out as boys, went to prison and became men. Then they're in prison, they realize, damn, I shouldn't have killed that person. I shouldn't have robbed that person. But now you're in prison. So now you realize yourself, but you're in prison. So now you get...
That's facts. A lot of brothers grow up in prison because once they get there, they realize the reality of the actions that they were doing while they were roaming free. Once they get in the belly of the beast and see the system for what it really is, a system trying to make us all into slaves, then they realize, shit, I was really a slave when I committed this act, a mental slave, a slave to my own lust, a slave to my own ignorance, a slave to the system. I pulled the trigger based on the dictatorship of those who made the gun for me to kill my brother. See, you got to look at this, family. Are you being controlled? You think you're a boss, but you may just be being bossed around. You got to consider it, family. You think you're a G, but you may be getting G'd. Okay?
Aggravated. We were talking about robbing and shooting and killing and selling drugs. You're like, yo, all you gonna do is wind up right here. So you dumb enough to be out there talking like that? The minute you come in here, dude, we waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. But now you let somebody like Chuck D or Moral Technique or Dead Prez or let any of them go to jail for any reason. They'll have dudes washing their underwear out for them. And be like, yo, dog, yo, what you stand for? We protecting you on that right now. You let Cypress Hill be real. Let him go to prison and see the Mexicans come around him like a general. Ain't nobody touching Be Real out here. They're saying their language. But this is manhood. Manhood! Yes. Right after manhood, here comes womanhood. And it's not right after, it's really first, and I'm going to show you why. Hip-hop politically begins with men. It begins with black men. It really does. It begins with the attitude of black men. The Latino man was with that too, and then the white man was with that too. But Kool Herc, the father of our culture, the reason he went outside to play his music at 1520 Central Avenue, actually inside in the community center, was because of his sister. His sister, Cindy Campbell. Cindy, his older sister, was the one who said, yo, Herc, go, as she said, he was a graffiti writer, right? Cool Ass Clyde. And it was his bigger sister that said, could you DJ for my birthday party? And he left the walls and became a DJ and started playing, James Brown and Apache and all these classic records now. But let me go from him to her. Women, not little girls, women, real women, is the purpose of hip-hop, is the glue of hip-hop. It's the glue of it. Men are the outward appearance of hip-hop, black men. Behind them is all kinds of women. Start with Cindy, with Kool Herc. And Pebbly Pooh, first female MC, who was with Kool Herc. Take it all the way over to Sha Rock, who was with Funky 4+1 More. Take it over to Roxanne Shante, who had many battles and won, by the way. Take it over to Salt and Pepper. Take it who was battling Dougie Fresh when they first came out. Take it over to Queen Latifah, MC Light. These are hip-hop women, okay? Take it over to them. Now, women are also the executives. Sylvia Robinson legendary woman, her soul rest in peace. She was the founder and president, CEO of Sugar Hill Records, the first rap records to come out in a major way, putting aside the fact that band's King Tim III, which is true scholarship. But coming over to Sugar Hill Records, that was ran by a black woman. Grandmaster Flash, Treacherous 3, Furious 5, Sequence, all of them, black women. See the vision and put it out. I say all this to say, what causes the movement of hip-hop? First, Africa Bambaataa caused it. But go further back, Malcolm X caused it. Go further forward, Cool Herc caused it. No, he didn't. Cindy caused it. Go even further, my mother caused it. And every single mother that raised a single boy to a man. This is also hip-hop. As most hip-hoppers, the early hip-hoppers from 81 to 91, the golden age of hip-hop, 90% of us raised by women. 90% raised by single women. Dad was not around. Hip-hop is feminine in a lot of ways. Hip-hop exalts the woman in a lot of ways. Mainstream says, oh, hip-hop is misogynist toward women. Hip-hop degrades women. Stupid. What an idiotic argument. Those people who say that are not even part of hip-hop. Because if you was part of hip-hop, you know it was Queen Latifah who put out, I need a gangsta bitch. A gangsta bitch, I need a gangsta bitch. Her artist was called Apache. He actually put the record out. But Latifah was the woman, the executive behind the record.
This is very important, y'all. Hip-hop has always been a foundation, but more than just a foundation, women in hip-hop have been our foundation. Okay? Just like today, some of the hottest artists are women. Nicki Minaj, look how big she got. You have Cardi B, right? Who just celebrated her first #1 record, right? So to think that women don't have a voice in hip hop is foolish. It's been here since day one, and it's here right now with Cardi B having a #1 record. Huh? So don't ever think women are not involved. And great MCing at that. You got great fierce MCs if you just go back through the lineage of the women who were writing and who were spitting that shit. This goes back, family. But like I said, it goes back from then all the way to now with Cardi B with the her #1 record. All right? You got to consider that. Consider it.
Who you calling a bitch? UNITY. Your biggest record in hip hop is one woman. Anybody who looks at hip hop will look at Mary J. Blige and Method Man. Method Man, the record all like, you're all I need to get by. Shorty, I'm there for you anytime you need. But it's me in your world. Nothing makes the man feel better. Oh, I can't get his lyrics together. But when you listen to the lyrics of Method Man and how he adores Mary J. Blige, he's just like, oh, you're my world, you're my everything, you're everything. How is that misogynist? At the end of the record, he says to Mary, you my nigga. Does Mary go, why you calling me a nigga? No, Mary know exactly what he's talking about. She's like, word, they did the video together. She even went and did another record with Ghostface, which was even bigger than that one. This is real hip-hop. Real hip-hop. Not sociologists, not professors. They don't even know their own subject. How you gonna look at hip-hop? They don't even know their own subject. They don't even know what sociology is. So to put a period on it real quick, there's a little period here. The movement of hip-hop, peace, love, unity, having fun. It comes out of the civil rights movement, the continuation of that struggle to get free. And what is free? Not just free to run around and do stupid stuff, but free to be a man, free to be a woman, free to raise a family. Right now, hip hop is in family mode right now. All of hip hop is in family mode right now. All of us, we got our kids with us. We putting our kids on TV. Will Smith just put his son out. Snoop just smoked the blunt with his son. Actually, he actually, I want to say is that his daughter, he just did a record with his daughter called No Guns Allowed. Just did a reggae record. Snoop Lion did a record with his daughter and Drake. Big up to Drake, big up to Snoop and his daughter for doing that record, No Guns Allowed. And they did a reggae record on that. That's Snoop. That's 187 on the undercover car. Yeah, and you know, that's him, okay? That's him, all right? Now he's my daughter. And no guns in school. Why? Because I'm a father. Really? And we knew that. When Snoop said 187, we knew who he was then. Me and Snoop have been friends for years. Years. Does he look at me and say, oh, Chris is just preaching too much? Do I look at him, oh, he's gangster gang? No! Snoop is probably more intelligent than I am. Think about this. Everybody who's for the cause doesn't run around with dreadlocks and red, black, and green on. You be corporate and still be hip hop.
Very important. Very important. Everybody that's for the cause does not just come in one shape or fashion or form. This is why at first the West Coast rappers were not respected. We had to fight for our rights. The NWAs of the world, the Ice-T's of the world. I mean, all of us over here on the West Coast, because we had to earn our respect from our brethren out there in the East. So this is the nature of hip hop. It's a competitive sport. We know that. However, it's a universal sport. It comes in many shapes, forms, and fashions. And you have to be able to dissect the dialect to get the information, because it's not spoken in one way, shape, or form. We create new forms all the time. And it's true. Even those so-called gangster rappers are some of the smartest individuals that you will ever meet. That's facts. That's facts. They just rapping about the street life, where they came from and how they live it, but don't think they don't understand the system. They're the ones that lived it. They're the ones that's fighting the cases, going inside the belly of the beast, dealing with the black on black crime, dealing with the single parenthood, the raised by their moms, all of the ills that affect the community. The gangster rappers live it. So obviously they know what the fuck is going on. Wake up. Smell the coffee, y'all. Wake up.
Does corporate involvement in hip-hop destroy hip-hop? Here's the answer. Africa Bambaataa taught us this also at the 1994 meeting of the minds at the Schomburg Center in Harlem. This very question was brought up. And the answer was, of course you can be corporate. In fact, more cultural people should go into corporate life. The problem with the corporate world is there are not enough cultured people in it. People who are into their culture don't lie, cheat, and steal. Now, that's not saying that all of the corporate world is about lying, cheating, and stealing. No, it's not. But when you're in a corporate situation, you have to tolerate lying, cheating, and stealing. Because the corporate is about capitalism. And capitalism is against democracy, against truth, against labor, against people. It's just by its nature, all are going to own. I mean, one is going to own, not all owning. One guy is going to own in the end. So if you're going to be in a corporate situation, what Professor Z, who teaches at Lincoln University, hip-hop scholar, the first actually, he said, when having intercourse with corporate America, use your culture as a condom. This is the best way to explain this exchange between corporate and culture. Use your culture as a condom as you enter corporate life. Keep your principles on you. Wear your principles. And the minute something comes up against your principles, that's when you start seeking your way out. You don't have to quit immediately, like some cultural people do, like me. I'm guilty of that. I worked at Warner Brothers for 2 years. I was at the pinnacle of corporate life. I was head of A&R, Warner Brothers. It was a great time for me. But the lying, the backstabbing, the deception, me as a man could not sit next to that. So I quit. But in hindsight, as I look back on it, I say, you know what? I should have just stayed and fought. I really should have stayed. Now, me, I don't regret anything. I like my life the way it is. I'm glad I left. But as advice to other people, don't be so quick to quit. Because culture needs corporate. And corporate needs culture. In fact, culture thrives. When a culture is thriving, it manifests corporate. It makes it, whether it likes it or not. It's throwing off jewels. It's throwing off resources and things that everybody wants. A vibrant culture, corporations are going to come to it, and it's going to create new jobs and new entrepreneurships, a vibrant culture. So corporate is not against culture. Culture is not against corporate. What we don't have is integrity in corporate life, dignity in corporate life, loyalty in corporate life. And if we can maintain those things, then you do fine in corporate life. You do excellent in corporate life. But you'll get to a point one day which you're just going to have to tell the lie. And that's when you're going to have to decide, hold up. I'm not doing that. And that's when you got to go. And when you leave, your culture will embrace you because your culture will know. Here's why she left. She left because they wanted her to lie about the culture, and she refused.
Exactly. See, you become face to face with the reality of becoming a sellout, because corporate world deals with monopolizing, telling the lie for control's sake. Everybody that's in that corporate world is trying to eat up the little guy, become the big have, and make you the little have not. So hip hop is for everyone. We want everyone to eat. You get yours, I get mine. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, right? So that's where the confrontation becomes, because we don't want to lie. We don't want to be a dictator, if you will. Hip hop has spread throughout the world. You got the dancers out there in Japan. You know, it's everywhere, man. So we didn't keep it to ourselves just in the hoods of the ghettos. No, we spread this thing to the entire earth. Switzerland, Germany, like the brother just got from saying earlier. So we will not become fake to the point where we will lie and deceive the people so that we can be that big I and make the people the little you. No, so that's why we don't stay in corporate long, because when you're in corporate America, a lot of times, or in the corporate world, you have to step on the people to stay up there. You got to walk on the people, lie to the people, deceive the people, make the people think that your ice is the coldest and it ain't no other ice that they should be using, even though ice generally is at the same temperature. You get it? So it's a big lie, and we will not lie. Hip hop is a religion, y'all. The new religion.
You know what? The culture will The culture will take care. I'm living proof of that. I'm living proof of that. My middle finger, stay up to corporate life, MTV, all of that. Middle finger, get it? Okay, stay up. But that's because my culture holds me. It holds me. This has nothing to do with being rich, because I'm not. There's nothing to do with being, famous and rich and all of that. That's corporate. It's fun. It's fun to spend money. It's fun to be popular. But children who go to bed at night with nothing in their stomach, and women who can't find a decent man to raise their kid, and men who that is never going to leave the earth. That right there. See, I don't speak the language, but I know exactly what she's saying. I can feel that. That right there, that's hip hop. And that's the culture. And as long as we stay true to the culture, you're going to eat, you're going to have respect, you're going to be protected, you're going to raise your family. Now, on the level of corporate, hip hop is facing a new challenge today. The challenge is that the university system all over the world, colleges all over the world, are claiming that they can teach hip hop without any credentials whatsoever to do so. Major universities are telling professors, hold on, I go on that phone? Yes. They're telling professors Major universities are telling professors, hold on, I go on after her? Yeah. Okay. They're telling professors, you can teach hip hop because you have a sociology degree. You can teach hip hop because you have a journalist.
You haven't participated in hip hop. If you haven't supported hip hop, even if you haven't did the act of graffiti yourself, or the rap yourself, or the beat making, or whatever the case may be yourself, at least have you supported it? Have you been knee deep in the movement? You can't just get a degree and think that you are now capable. You are now in a position to teach hip hop. That's blasphemy. Blasphemy. Okay? No, you have to do your rites of passage. You have to do your due diligence, people. That's facts.
You have a degree in psychology. This is so ridiculous. This is like, because I have a degree in engineering, I can teach law. Because I have a degree in medicine, I can teach culinary arts. I can teach you how to cook because I'm a doctor. That's how ridiculous this is. So you got these professors all over the world claiming themselves to be hip-hop professors or hip-hop scholars. Never did a show, never made a record, never even supported the making of one. Okay, you don't rap, but you produced an album. Okay, you paid for one. You made a beat. Nothing. Zero. They listen to rap music and then go, okay, now I can teach hip hop in a college. This is horrible for hip hop. I urge all hip hoppers to rise up on this. Anybody teaching you hip hop, if they don't have a degree from me, they're not hip hop. And I'm not saying that egotistically. I'm the first master teacher of hip hop. The first time hip hop ever had a teacher, it was KRS-One. When nobody was even thinking about teaching hip hop, I was teaching hip hop and teaching through hip hop. Not just rap, graffiti art, breaking, MC, all of the out fashion, everything you were teaching. Now, they don't want me in the university because I'm going to expose the lies. So they get the people that they can control to say these are hip hop scholars. Then what they're teaching about hip hop, Tupac's lyrics, Biggie's life, Criminal Minded is an album. We're going to listen to the Criminal Minded album and listen to what did KRS mean. This is not teaching hip hop. What's teaching hip hop is hip means to know. Hop is a form of movement. This is teaching hip hop. What is hip? What is hop? And how do we use that? How do we handle that? How do we live this? And we're going through something in hip hop right now that all true hip hoppers should be questioning these professors. You see the way people are protesting in the streets all over? I think their energy is misplaced. Your government can't even help you with what the protest. Like Brazil, big up to the people in Brazil that are doing their thing. But they're arguing with the wrong people. The government has no power. They can't even. The government's wondering what the hell to do right now. Okay, so they throw another tear gas. That's all the government can do. The people have to unite. That's what these protests should be showing us. Yo, we blew off some steam, we fought the cops, but who's going to start organizing thought? And where you organize thought is not on the street, it's at the university. Take those protests and go into the universities and say education should be free across the board. You should never have to pay for education again. That's the beginning of every revolution. We would get more money. Everybody would have jobs. You could raise your family better. There's more psychological peace if education was free. Not medical, not a bus fare. Education. Why does a college student go to college and have to be put in debt for the rest of their lives fighting off this college debt just to get an education? That's against the law. That's an injustice. So I say hip hop is everywhere. Should take the fight to the university. That's what we need to be fighting. Go there and demand that education be free. Let's storm the universities. Don't storm the government. The government's weak right now. Everybody know that. Corporations run the government now. You're not going to get answers from the government. They are the managers of Burger King. They are not in power. They're not the franchise owner of the state. The government doesn't control the state anymore. Corporations do. So you don't want to fight the corporations because you're an instant hypocrite. You buy from the corporation you go fight from. You gonna eat the food. You go fight the same corporation. You eat the same food. That war can't be won. At least not on that front. Here's what we can win. Take that protest into the universities. Go. All
makes
universities.
Sense. That makes sense. We have to take the fight to the universities where the knowledge and the young people and the fresh minds are. So hip hop is a revolutionary act.
Teach hip hop. They should teach hip hop from a certain pop cultural specialist. This alone would create 1 million new jobs around the world. If universities would just comply with hip hop's cultural principles, 2 million jobs open up for everybody around the world. Open up for everybody. Everybody wins on this. But universities are colonizing hip hop. They're taking hip hop just like diamonds, like oil, like peanuts, like seed, like anything. They're trying to commodify and take it from us. And hip hop should not stand for that. Take your protest to the university and demand more knowledge, not more money. Demand more knowledge, not more freedom even. Because we were slaves and got free through knowledge. Now today they say we're free and we're more slaves because of lack of knowledge. It's knowledge that reigns supreme. Yes. What a coincidence.
Knowledge reigns supreme, KRS-One. You got to have your master teachers, y'all. So this is just an introduction. We'll deal with so many things, okay? But hip-hop is a new religion, and rappers are the pastors and preachers, are the preachers and pastors. And what message are they delivering in the pulpit? We have to expand the message. We have to make sure that the children are getting a broader perspective of what's happening in the world. Because more things happen in the world than just you on your block with your lean or your little cannabis, you know, your marijuana, your Glock or your weapons, you know, chasing these so-called, in your mind, bitches and hoes or whatever way you label this, getting your money on. Well, it's a lot going on in the world that can affect money, right? We're trying to get the dollar bill in America to rise back up because you have other currencies in the world that have already overtaken the dollar bill. All right. You have militaries that are growing and attempting to get their hands on nuclear powers. You have major catastrophes in the world. You have third world countries that are still fighting to get what we already have. Some people still have rural areas where they don't even have running water. They don't have proper sewage. So electricity. All right. So they're not living the type of life that you're living here, right here. Even if you're in the projects, you're living a better lifestyle in terms of your amenities, your you know, your ability to get on the internet. Now, the person in the Congo or the jungle may feel like they have a better life because they go right there, pick the plant, eat the food, go out there, uh, kill the animal, cook the animal. They don't have to go to the supermarket. They're not in the same uh, mindset that we are in. So who's really the one winning? Who's really losing? It's all based on the eye of the beholder. You know, it's all based on the one who's observing. What I'm simply saying is hip hop has touched the world from here all the way to way over there in the jungle. And it resonates with the souls of the people because hip hop is an ancient civilization that has been here since the beginning of time. So as we move forward in this new religion, and as you see, the young people, they don't go to church no more. They get their daily information from the latest rapper. So, you know, it's rough right now. Do the best you can to teach your children and also do the best you can to lead them in a direction where at least they can get some type of information from the hip hopper because life is more than just money, hoes, and clothes. All a nigga knows, right? That's Biggie line, right? Money, hoes, clothes, all a nigga knows. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just money, hoes, and clothes. The struggle, right? We love Biggie because he gave us the everyday struggle. He said it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper, and everything inside the magazine, right? He talked about how, you know, he went from rags to riches. And his mama, you know, couldn't imagine that. He used to eat sardines for dinner, right? So actually, that's when I fell in love with Biggie. I'm over here in the West Coast, San Francisco Bay Area. But when I heard that song, Juicy, and, you know, we know everywhere who you are, right? Don't let them hold you down or hold you back. Reach for the stars. Down, down, down. This not make the band. Down. Right? Man, I fell in love with that shit. You know, a brother from the ghetto making it to the, you know, the mansion and getting interviewed by Robert Leach, you know, drinking champagne for dinner, all that old shit, right? So the struggle, the everyday struggle is what connected me out here in San Francisco to Biggie way out there in New York. The struggle, the everyday struggle is what made Biggie one of my favorite. As soon as I laid eyes on him, and as soon as I laid ears on him, because that was a message that I could relate to. So, brothers out there, sisters out there, make sure you relating to these youngsters, the struggles that they come from. Yeah, they want to get the foreign rips, the nice clothes, the jewelry, and everything, but you got to talk about the struggle where they come from, so that they can identify and teach them the pathway. A lot of people give credit to Jay-Z for showing us how to take the dirty money and make it clean, being smarter than the opposition, not allowing the law, or rather being smart enough to run from the law in a good way, not running, you know, on a high-speed chase, but, you know, staying low, you know, low key, out of sight, out of mind, right? Jay-Z is a business man. He's not a businessman. He's a business man. Come on, family. Hip hop is the new religion. Your children ain't going to church. They're learning from the rapper. So all we can do now is implore the rappers to put something in their music that leads the youth into a brighter day. Teach the youth about more than just money, hoes, and clothes. All a nigga knows. Teach him. Teach him about the struggle, the belly of the beast, and not how to get devoured in the belly of the beast. So we have a mission at hand. And this is my first show on hip hop. From Hip Real Hop, we're going to deal with a lot of different things, a lot of subject matters. Um, it's no limit. It's no limit. Shouts out to Master P. So we're going to take it there. So, if you leave me comments, talk to me, then I can get back with you and I can have subject matters and we can really make this happen. But Hip Real Hop is hip hop real. Shouts out to hip hop real. Listen, man, be real. Be real to yourself. You can't lie to the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. Huh? You can't lie to yourself. So, Hip Real Hop is keeping it real with yourself. Tell me your story. Tell me where you come from, how you do it. That's what I love about hip hop. I love listening to the struggle of the individual and how they made it to the level of success. Hip Real Hop. Hey, y'all, keep your head up. This your brother, Megalodon 415 out of San Francisco Bay Area, signing out until the next show. Keep on growing, keep on knowing, keep on showing. All right? Don't allow these motherfuckers to hold you down. Wear your crown. Stay around. Get it up. Don't go down. You are no longer lost. You are now found. Be that pitcher on the pitching mound. Stay sound. And guess what? Is the earth flat or round? The flat earthers say it's flat. The globe heads say it can never be that. So it's a lot going on. It's more than a quiet storm. It's world catastrophes happening at an alarming rate, G. You have earthquakes and hurricanes. It's bigger than the brother ride known as Gold Dana Danes. Many young kids are growing up insane. That's the new game. Losing your mind. Did you hear me, man? So if you want to keep your mind, you got to stay in the game. Stay within frame of the picture so you can paint a perfect picture. Holla at your brother. I'll get with you. It's all good. You feel me, my nigga? Hello. Hip Real Hop.